Hi students, in this video we are going to discuss about nuclear fusion and elementary particles. When two or more lighter nuclei combine to form a heavier nucleus, then it is called as nuclear fusion. In the nuclear fusion, the mass of the resultant nucleus is less than the sum of the masses of original lighter nuclei. The mass difference appears as energy. The lighter nuclei which are going to combine in the nuclear fusion process should have the mass number less than 20. Let us take two lighter nuclei. They are going to combine and forms the heavy nucleus. Here the mass of the heavy nucleus M3 is always lesser than the summation of the masses of that two lighter nuclei. There is a difference in mass which is given by del M is converted as a energy. The nuclear fusion never occurs at the room temperature, unlike nuclear fission. It is because when two lighter nuclei come closer to combine, they are strongly repelled by the Coulomb repulsive force. Imagine it is a two lighter nuclei. We know the charge of the nucleus. Nucleus always possesses the positive charge. If two lighter nuclei come together, due to Coulomb's repulsive force, they will repulse each other. But here, during the fusion reaction, they have to combine. To overcome this repulsion, the two lighter nuclei must have enough kinetic energy to move closer to each other, such that the nuclear force becomes effective. This can be achieved if the temperature is much greater than 10 to the power of 7 Kelvin. If the two lighter nuclei want to combine, the temperature must be more than 10 to the power of 7 Kelvin. When the surrounding temperature reaches around 10 to the power of 7 Kelvin, the lighter nuclei start to fusing to form a heavier nuclei. And this resulting reaction is called thermonuclear fusion reaction. Let us discuss the energy generation in stars. The natural place where nuclear fusion occurs is the core of the stars. Since their temperature is of the order of 10 to the power of 7 Kelvin. In fact, the energy generation in every star is only through thermonuclear fusion. In most of the stars, including our Sun, hydrogen atoms fuse into helium. And in some stars, helium atoms fuse into heavier atoms. The early stage of a star is in the form of cloud and dust. Due to their own gravitational pull, these clouds fall inwards. As a result, its gravitational potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. And finally into heat. When the temperature is high enough to initiate the thermonuclear fusion, they start to release the enormous energy which tends to stabilize the star and prevents it from further collapse. The Sun's interior temperature is around 1.5 into 10 to the power of 7 Kelvin. In Sun, 6 into 10 to the power of 11 kg of hydrogen is converted into helium every second, and Sun has enough hydrogen such that these fusion reactions last for another billion years. When hydrogen is burned out, if the hydrogen in the Sun is burnt fully, means the Sun will enter into the new phase called red giant. where helium will fuse to carbon. During this stage, sun will expand greatly in size and all its planets will be swallowed in it. So, red giant is the last stage of our sun. When the sun reaches this stage, our earth also will be engulfed within a sun. But don't worry, we have the enough hydrogen now. It will be happen after 5 billion years only. According to Hans Bethe, the sun is powered by proton-proton cycle of fusion reaction. This cycle consists of 3 steps, and the first 2 steps are as follows. So 2 protons combines and form the deuterium. It is an isotope of the hydrogen and emit the positron neutrino. Here you can see 2 proton. It is a lighter particles combines and forms the heavier particle. Compared to this one, it is a heavier particle. In the second step, another one proton is going to combine with the deuterium, which is formed here, and forms the isotope of the helium and gamma rays. Compared to these 2 lighter elements, here it is a heavy element. It is a isotope of helium. So the number of reactions are possible in the third step, but the most dominant one is isotope of helium. Is combined with another one isotope of helium and forms the helium and 2 protons. The overall energy produced in the above reaction is about 27 million electron volt. The radiation energy we receive from the sun is due to the fusion reaction. Through this video you can understand the proton-proton cycle. First 2 protons combines and forms the deuterium and positron and neutrino. Deuterium is combined with the another one proton and forms the isotope of helium and emits the gamma radiation. The 2 isotopes of helium combines and forms the helium and 2 protons. In this proton-proton cycle, more energy will be created because, as we have discussed already, the mass of the resultant nuclei is less than the mass of the parent nuclei. So that mass difference will liberate as a energy. So in each step there will be a liberation of energy. So this nuclear fusion is a basic principle for the hydrogen bomb also. Let us discuss the elementary particles. An atom has a nucleus surrounded by the electrons, and the nucleus is made up of protons and neutrons. It was thought that protons, neutrons and electrons are fundamental building blocks of matter because they only create the atoms. Atoms are the fundamental building blocks for matter. In 1964, physicists Murray Gell-Mann and George Schwenk theoretically proposed that protons and neutrons are not fundamental particles. In fact, they are made up of quarks. These quarks are now considered elementary particles of nature. Electrons are fundamental or elementary particles because they are not made up of anything. In the year 1968, the quarks were discovered experimentally by Stanford Linear Accelerator Center. Shortly it is denoted as SLAC, which is in USA. There are 6 quarks, namely up, down, charm, strange, top and bottom, and their antiparticles. All these quarks have fractional charges. For example, charge of up quark is plus 2 by 3 e, and that of down quark is minus 1 by 3 e. According to quark model, proton is made up of 2 up quarks and 1 down quark. Then what is the total charge of the proton? So in a proton, 2 up quarks are there. What is the charge of 1 up quark? Plus 2 by 3 e. Another 1 up quark is also there, 2 by 3 e, and 1 down quark is there. So minus 1 by 3 e. That is the charge of 1 down quark. You have to take a LCM. So 3 denominator, 3 e is a common thing. 2 plus 2 4 minus 1 3. So 3 3 can be cancelled. So which is equal to plus 1 e. Simply plus e. That is the charge of proton. Likewise, neutron is made up of 1 up quark and 2 down quarks as shown here. So the neutron, 1 up quark is there. What is the charge of 1 up quark? 2 by 3 e, and 2 down quarks are there. So minus 1 by 3 e, another 1 down quark. So 1 by 3 e. So take a LCM. Here 2 minus 1 minus 1 minus 2 plus 2 is there. So that will be cancelled, 0. So it will be equal to 0. So charge of neutron is 0. The study of elementary particle is called particle physics, and it is an active area of research even now. Till date, more than 20 Nobel Prizes have been awarded in the field of particle physics. Thank you.